Hey, scrappy people. Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with a layout using my brand new, completely free collection called Radiate no, Radiate Joy. I don't know why I keep saying Radiate Positivity, but it's called Radiate Joy. And I wanted to create a layout that felt joyful to me, and that is of my pupper who loves laying in the sun. So summer is her favorite time of year. So I have taken one of the papers from the collection and I have gone ahead and using my silhouette cut out a sort of heart pattern with the center ish not cut out because that's where I'm going to build my layout, so I didn't need to stick any hearts under there. And I wanted to do this sort of dimensional heart pop-up thing, and I thought rather than just sticking hearts on top of this beautiful paper or even on top of just the white cardstock, it would be fun to have these cutouts around the hearts. So all I did was take it into Silhouette and using the heart stickers from part one, which is these stickers right here, I went ahead and offset the cut for these stickers by 0.1 inches. And that gave me just enough of an outline to where the hearts, once I put them in the center of those cutout hearts, will pop up and have a nice white sort of shadowed outline around the outside edges. And you'll see what I mean here in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. I'm just applying adhesive in between the hearts as best as I can because there are so many little tiny pieces here that I just want to make sure all of the edges and the corners are nice and stuck down so that nothing flips up or gets caught or anything in the album. So I'm just adding some tape around the edges as much as possible. Now I want to center this on the page. And then I'm going to go ahead and take foam tape, and using foam tape, I'm going to pop up all of those hearts. So I need to glue down this little point that was sticking up first. Then I'm going to grab my foam tape and put these down in a pattern. So I'm just going to make sure that the pattern works first. So I'm just putting them all down in the same pattern for the beginning. And then I wanted to make sure that the hearts along the edges of where my photos are going to be didn't repeat the same colors all the way down, so I just kind of changed up the pattern a little bit so that the colors would repeat vertically on that side. Perfect. Make sure everything looks right, and then grab my foam tape and begin the painstaking process of sticking all of these hearts down. Now, because they're hearts and I gotta make sure that both sides are held up, I'm just gonna kind of apply this foam tape in a V. Well, I don't on this first one. You can see me sort of trying to save foam tape by only using one strip, but it just wasn't gonna work. So instead, I'm gonna use a little V. My V's get cleaner as I go along, but since I was trying to only use one piece of foam tape there, that was a little bit messy. But I'm going to repeat the process all the way down, which I will not make you watch because it took me about 20 minutes just to stick all of these hearts down. But the end result is so cool. I always just love the shadows that foam tape gives you. It's just such a fun dimensional way to use paper when paper is what you're using and you don't have like chipboard or anything like that, which is always, printable collections are printed on paper. You can apply it to chipboard and things like that, but the way they come is just generally paper. So I like to add dimension in other ways when I can. So that is a lot of foam tape on this layout. I'm cutting down my traveler's notebook papers to the correct size for some mats here. I'm going to have a triple mat on this photo, and they're all going to be kind of wonky. I don't want anything to be straight because I have such a straight grid going on with the whole layout, including the actual paper, which is a grid. So I want to sort of make these wonky and offset and not perfectly straight. So I'm just tilting everything side to side as I put it down. Then I'm going to pop the whole cluster up on foam tape so that it has the same height as the hearts. Now, because I did this, it means I got to use foam tape on all the embellishments that kind of overlap the main cluster. The alternative, if I had just left this flat on the paper, I would have had to use foam tape still for anything that was going over the hearts, and it kind of would have like been weird. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, one edge would have been up and the other edge flat to the paper, or foam tape on the whole thing, which is going to cast shadows over the photos. So I decided to just put the whole photo cluster up on foam tape instead of doing it that way. I did print out 2 copies of the Joy from this Chase Joy title. All of these pieces are from the digital kit portion of this freebie. So I had printed and cut those with the multiple heart stickers here all at once. But I did print out 2 copies of the Joy because I wanted to layer them together. I would have ideally liked to print out way more than 2 copies and made sort of a thick Joy title to more accurately represent the wood veneer texture in the title. But I didn't have any room on the paper, the print and cut paper, when I was done with all of those hearts. So I only printed out 2 because I didn't want to waste a whole nother sheet of paper printing out just Joy over and over again. So I made the choice to just print out 2. It does give it a little bit more depth, and more importantly, because of the way this sort of spans the foam heart and the foam what do you call it? Photo cluster. That was the word I was looking for. The foam photo cluster, because of the way it spans, it's sort of not really supported in the middle there. And so by having a couple of layers of that Joy, it makes it a little bit thicker and makes it less likely to bend in the middle. So more layers would have made that even better, but we don't have more layers, so we're going with what we got. All right, there's the title, and now I have some stickers that I'm going to pull out from the 2 different sticker sets. Title from set 3 as well, or the flowers are from set 2. So the titles are from set 3, the flowers are from set 2, and then I have some word bits and tags from both sets as well. Again, the whole collection is completely free. It's available in 3 parts. One in my store directly, one in the Sweet Shop store directly, and then one via my newsletter. There is a link in the description box below to the collection where you can find all those parts. It's super easy. So here you can see me fussing with all of the foam tape that I'm going to need to make sure that all of the pieces of this layout are supported. So anything that goes over the photo itself or the cluster doesn't need foam tape, but anything that's sort of hanging off the edge needs some foam tape to support it. I love these flowers in this collection. They just make me so happy. Sort of summery. I love how this whole collection is very warm. The colors are very warm. Even the blues and the greens feel very warm. The green, the dark green is definitely a cool green, but in the context of this whole collection, it reads as very warm and a nice contrast. Just such a pretty, relaxing color palette, I think, and I really enjoy it. Last, I need to add in a flower at the top just to add in some of the more of these beautiful little flower clusters. This is sort of a pint-sized huge collection. It has 79 stickers in it, but it's obviously not as large or as complex as my normal, for sale collections. It's supposed to be a sampler so that you can try my product if you've never tried it before, or have something fun to play with that's not like a huge commitment for printing. But it does have a lot of really cool stuff in it. I love the titles or the phrases that are in part 3. That my heart is content in this moment is part of that set 3 with all of the titles. Then of course I had to include some useful things like tags and tabs and word bits and all of that fun stuff. This one's going to be for my journaling, which I definitely probably should have written on there before I put it on the layout, since it's got some weird support issues there. But I did end up adding the journaling afterwards, and it worked out just fine. I just had to be a little careful and not push too hard. All right, lastly, I'm going to add in this flower here over the top to finish off that cluster and call it good. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracy M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. Again, there is a link in the description box to the Radiate Joy collection, and I will see you next time. Thank you.